The Bankrupt Bookseller. Two sections. The first, Real Soldiers. I heard a story of a picture which appeared in Punch during the war. I never saw it, but a man who was buying a war book told it to me. He was quite moved telling it, and so was I hearing it. Two men in khaki, cluttered up, cluttered up with rifle and battle kit, are leaving Victoria Station and crossing up towards Buckingham Palace Road. They are unshaven and most unmilitary-like, although they have come straight from the Somme fighting on leave. A very smart guardsman in full dress, regimentals passes on the other side of the road. "Bill," one of them calls out to his pal. "Bill, look, a soldier." Was there ever anything like those Kitchener's army men? Strategy. Last week I sold Little Hart's book, The Real War, and on the rebound I caught the buyer. His name is Gorry, and he is a Scotsman. Gorry told me that he was on the staff of some Scots regiment, the Coldstream Guards or the Gordons. He was very full of it, and in connection with his duties was in touch with the French. He told me an astonishing story and told it something like this, as I recollect. Foch was commander-in-chief of the time of the French army. The unity of command had still to be achieved. Foch said, "This is pretty business. Here am I master of open warfare conditions, and the most rigid trench and siege warfare the world has ever seen is what I have to face. Nevertheless, I am Foch." Foch resumes, "I am Foch. Circumstances do not permit me to impose my will on the enemy, and so create those conditions of open warfare in which I am master. Yet must impose my will on the army. I can and must. I am Foch. I cannot drive in the enemy's front, but I can induce him to leave his rigid formations, and he unknowingly will then give me open warfare. How will I induce him to abandon his impenetrable system of defense? I will offer him a lure. Now let me consider. Already one part of the soil of France has been overrun by the enemy. He will be encouraged to overrun it again. He need to sacrifice more miles of territory. The land of the Somme, over which he retired in 1970, there will I induce him to open his attack. I must have good baits. I am Foch. The British, they hold their position with far too many men. They will take over more of the line. They will stretch their line so thin that only one man holds every 25 meters. The enemy will be looking for a front upon which to attack in the spring. They will find out the weakest part of the front. They will find out the weakest part of the front is that held by the British Fifth Army. They will concentrate all their forces on the sector. They will overwhelm the British. They will stretch their lines of communication across the devastated Somme. They will be allowed to go as far as the ravaged territory extends. They will create a wide salient, and then, but not till then, will I attack. I am Foch. Well, open warfare conditions are presented, I must win, and the enemy will present me with these conditions. And so Gorry tells me it all happened. Foch struck when the Boche had almost entered Amiens. It was the first blow of what became the final victory 6 months later. I told Gorry about Walter Shaw Sparrow's book, The Fifth Army in March 1918, which I am trying to get for him. It doesn't support his theory, but he is one of those men who the war has left restless. He admits he died in it. That's how he puts it. His interest finished with the war. He is a revenant in a land of ghosts. His body ought to be with the lads who died at Loos, or the boys who went out in July 1916 on the Somme, or anywhere but in England, carrying about a patent carpet sweeper in his cardboard box. And so he talks sometimes to me of strategy, although the strategy he would like to master, if he is to do his quota of sales, is the strategy of getting past the maid in order to show his mistress his box of tricks.